Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It is about 5:30 on October 21st, and again, I'm struggling with my voice. Yeah, I think I've narrowed this down, by the way. I think I've got reflux that's coming up and inflaming my larynx. But anyway, before we take a look at the chart, I just want to remind you that the website and this video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. So let's take a look. First thing I want to say is, wow, how nice it was to have nailed this bottom, to have called it, almost as it was happening. And that was based upon the fact, again, that we blew out through the bottom of all of our already existing descending support lines. In other words, that was the last of the weakest of the weak hands in the intermediate term traders throwing their shares away down in the 1820 to 1840 range. Hate to say it, but that's what they did. They threw them away. It was coming down in a fairly organized pattern. Then all of a sudden, this Ebola thing, I guess, or whatever excuse it might have been, they just, you can have my shares. So we bounced up nicely, formed a small a channel rising here between these two yellow lines. Additionally, we had a reversal pattern right here that had a target of about 1918. We made that. So since we made that, I'm going to get rid of both the target line and the neckline for pretty clear reasons. I'm also going to get rid of this old extended neckline because we've got another one to potentially consider here. I am going to leave these lines where they are probably, but these two lines may also get altered. But this is what I'm looking at now. I'm looking at what may be an even larger inverted head and shoulders pattern, defined by this portion of the chart. Boom, boom, boom. If this pattern does what it indicates, then we would be looking, let me shorten that just a hair, then we would be looking at a target of 1978. Now, 1978 is an interesting level because that means we will climb back into, probably climb back into the long-term support line that had lasted for more than 2 years, or right at about 2 years. So what else took place today that's worth noting? Well, it's worth noting that the bottom support line of our little continuation pattern here, which actually formed after a sell-off from the high, which was over 2,000, this line we got back over into this pattern. So this consolidation pattern between these two green lines did its thing. It consolidated, built up some selling pressure that was then relieved with this move down to the low 1820s. And now we have sufficient buying interest to bring us back into this pattern. What will be interesting is what happens if and when we tag this top line, which was the resistance line. The other thing I want to point so two things happened today. We got back on top of two lines that typically would have served as resistance. That's good. Now, what's kind of interesting looking is the fact that if we look at this channel that we had drawn, and I'm going to extend these lines, but they're right where we had them. What's interesting is how this line served for about half of the day today, almost like a magnet. You see, it did it here, back in the late on the 17th and early on the 20th. Yesterday, then we kind of broke away from it a bit. Then we pulled back. Just absolutely hugged that line all the way up. Now, if that doesn't tell you that something's going on with this trend line, nothing will. We then broke away from it again and then started to move back up yet again. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, coupled with the fact that we have a potential inverted head and shoulders pattern down here that points us to 1978, leads me to consider the possibility that these lines aren't exactly right. That we may find out that these lines are more like a channel within a channel. If I were to speculate right now, which I'm not above doing, I would think possibly our actual channel could end up being these lines right here, rather than these yellow lines, maybe these gray lines. That makes not quite as much sense until you start looking at what happened over the past couple of days. So with that in mind, I'm going to make these lines a very light yellow, so they will be on your live chart for you to consider as trading starts back up tomorrow. I don't use this color very often because it's kind of hard to read, but I'm going to do it this time. So guys, there you have it. This line right here should be resistance. This also should be resistance. So once again, if it's beneath us, it's now support. If it's above us, it's resistance. It's good to get over this blue line again. It's good to get back over this this lower green support line that broke. And it's also good to be looking at what may be yet another inverted head and shoulders pattern. Let's see if this one plays out. Okay, this little one down here did fine. It got a little squirrely over here on the right shoulder, but if this is what we're dealing with now, we have a very good chance of overcoming some more lines of resistance and getting back to a position to where the S&P could be restored to health. So guys, let's just leave it at that. And I want to thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your time, and especially thank you for your support.